Day 4. The sun has not risen yet. It's around 6 in the morning, and I'm going to come into these videos without any plan, no topic, and just letting and trusting creative flow just to come forth. So the last 3 days have been really impactful for me. I guess because I placed attention in this next 77 days for STILLENCE. And I want to reiterate, STILLENCE is a place where you come in. You go in deep without any agenda, without trying to get an answer for anything. You could do that. But you're just going to show up and just be open and allow things to flow forth and deal with that inside, you know. If a thought came in, like today, this morning, I didn't really have a lot of things like coming up, right? But there were things like like I had a childhood best friend named BJ Cad, and he was in my house a long time ago. He went into my neighbor's house where there was a big Rottweiler, and for some reason the Rottweiler came out, and I just remember like the Rottweiler was like trying to jump on him, and he was pretty scared. I mean, his face turned red. And I was just thinking, like, why didn't I do anything for him? You know, I had a gun that, you know, if you, I forgot what those guns are, where it had the sound where pap, pap, pap. I didn't know why I did not use that to scare the dog away at that time. We were like, what, 9, 10 years old? I just don't know why. But, I mean, stuff like that. You just start allowing those thoughts to come in. And again, what really happens in the stillness is what happens afterwards. It's not really in the moment, it's just preparing your mind to soften the ground, to fertilize it, so that during the day you're more present, you're more focused. But at the same time, you're more sensitized to yourself, you're more sensitized to your own thoughts, you're more sensitized to other people. And that's like part of the glory of this whole thing. So last night, I was talking to an older woman. She's around like, what, 50 or 60 years old? And then she began telling me like her 2 kids are about to graduate and she needed money for the toga. And she happens to also be the same, we follow the same master, Jesus. So I said, like, give me 5 minutes with you before you go. I just want to talk to you. And she said, well, you want to pray for me? I said, yeah, I'll pray for you. But then I began telling her, like, how I truly understood what she's going through, of not knowing what's going to happen because there was no money, right? And so I really told her how there was a time in my life when I was broke, but I've learned the spiritual principles of thanking God no matter what. You know, and of course, what you think about comes about. And I really believe that is one of the top 3 things to have in your life, or to be, is a Thanksgiving lifestyle, regardless of what the circumstances are. Because once you come up to a level, you're going to start seeing circumstances are just like illusions you can play with. And it kind of just brings out who you really are, right? If you're a loving person, the more circumstances will let the world see how loving you are. And I'll just explain to her, like, I understand her pain, and it was a small amount, right, by any standard. But then she was like just, freaking out. And before that, she told me before last night. I know she was not a stranger. I saw how God moved in her life and impossibilities brought her into situation where it's really an impossibility if and I'm like saying, if God did that for you, don't you think God can pay that or bring that to you? And the whole point is, what came up, I was thinking about that in my stillness. And the thing, see, the pain that you're going through, I don't care what pain, but the pain that you're going through, for sure it's for you to evolve, okay? It's for you to ask yourself, like, who is a person that needs to become out of this pain? But then I always go further into the legacy where, sure, you might overcome the pain or the hurdle or the obstacle or the challenge or whatever you call it. But never forget that pain serves a purpose much later on when it serves another person that you're going to tell. Because since 1997, 98, it's really true that, that your mess actually becomes your message. It becomes your ministry. The test that you've been going through, that's going to be your testimonies. The scars. I always like to see your scars will become your stars, right? And that's why I don't understand why we don't talk enough about our messes. We try to hide it, we try to put the perfect front, and yet we've all been through a mess. And the more we become aware, we start understanding that humanity shares the same predicament, these challenges. There's no one so unique. So, of course, I know a good friend. She got raped, 5 years old. I know another friend that she got raped. What's the difference? Actually, there is no difference. Rape is a common thing in our world today, thanks to, okay, I'll just say, thanks to sin and the devil and all that. But at the same time, there's no difference between the rape that happened. But their life are totally different. Okay? My good friend's life, because she overcame it, and I in Atlantis actually walked her through a long time ago. She does not identify with that story of being raped. My other friend, though, she holds on to that story that she was raped, and that affects everything in her life, the way she relates with people. And she does not understand why her life is not the way that she wants, or why her life is not what, because she sometimes comes to me for advice and coaching, and I'm telling her, unless she releases that identification to that story, that's going to continue playing in her life. So it's really a choice of holding on to that story, where actually that's your identity, or learning to let that go. Because that's the only thing that divides you and someone else. And if the more you can shatter those stories that you have in your own mind, the more deep the connection you're going to have with other human beings. Because we all have something. My first mentor Tim always likes to say, we're all going through something. Each one of us, no matter what the facade looks like, we're all going through something. So be gentle, be kind. And I think we need more of that in this world today, because everyone is just so consumed about themselves, their own issues, their own problems. And I remember when I was younger, back in LA, then also in high school, and then in San Francisco, I was guided by, his name is Father Hansi. Father Hansi told me why don't I spend my Saturdays in the hospital, just helping him out, going from patient's room to patient's room, and I did that. And I always remember coming out 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the afternoon, saying wow, I'm so lucky. And then it came to a point where I started visiting the children's hospital, and I found such courage and bravery from the kids. And I look at my life what am I complaining about when these kids have leukemia and cancer and they're battling through it, and they're not having a pity party, which most of us adults have. And that's why I think it's so important that Jesus says we should be like unto kids, okay? Not childish, but we should have the spirit of a kid, which is creative, playful. They can get mad at each other, yes, and then after a moment, friends again. See, they don't hold on to grudges. So, I just want to share that. Again, I'm coming in here with not knowing what to say, so I'm just going to let it be. And on to the stillness. Again, that's what it is. You're coming to stillness without any agenda. You're not trying to think of, you're not trying to think of certain thing that you want to handle. Because again, the after effects, the ripple effect will come thereafter during the day or the night. So I'm thinking of I'm also thinking of a new thing, a name, a word. Just let your mind marinate through the silence, through the stillness, and then it's gonna come. And you thought it came because you were watching a TV show and it just triggered something cool. You thought it came from a book, but see, unless you're aware, you will not have picked that up. All right, so that's it for now.